Vicky again here. Welcome back to my Hexham gym. I just thought I would talk to you about the idea of why I decided to lose so much weight. Now, back in August 2011, this was me. I was a big girl and I weighed about 123 kilos, which is a bit of a heavyweight really. The reason I decided to lose the weight was because my right knee was giving way, and after being depressed from managers trying to get too much out of me because of my short-term memory not working from dyslexia, and eating copious amounts of chocolate, which is a really good way of making yourself have a temporary feel-good factor, I put on weight to that amount. So at the same time I had a favourite uncle who was also struggling with alcoholism, and we decided between us that if I would lose the weight, he would give up his alcoholism. Now, I had already got a nice Weight Watchers diet, which actually was very good, and is now their 2010 version, which is quite freely available on the internet because they no longer use it, and was very successful. When I started doing my diet, I was very much addicted to chocolate and all the luxury things like high-fat crisps, high-fat food, full-fat cheese, and full cream milk, all those sort of things. And the day I decided to do it, I decided that was it, and I literally opened the bin and put them all in and never went back to them for my duration of my diet. When I started the first 2 weeks, I'd already calculated how much I should be eating on this diet, and I decided that there are quite a lot of ways that the diet does have rules. You have to eat your 5 fruit and veg portions a day, and if you are going to do it off of fruit, which yes tastes nicer, but vegetables, a lot of them are calorie free and they do count, which meant I had a lot more calories left over for my other food, which for me actually did include an amount of chocolate every day to keep with my addiction. The first 2 weeks I was so ill, I was actually in bed because I was shaking from my body trying to crave the chocolate in the amounts I was being used to. But I wasn't going to give in, and I wasn't going to give it the chocolate it required. I felt constantly hungry as my stomach was so used to eating so much food. It was like I was stood on one side of a chasm. You can imagine the Grand Canyon with its stone bridges going over the chasms, and on the other side I saw a thin version of me looking back at me. And I thought, yes, I would like to be you because you've got none of my medical problems, but on the other hand, I was happy being a big cuddly girl. But it was due to the medical problems I had to give it up. So I thought, if I'm going to step on that stone bridge, it would mean giving everything up. And I had to convert sweetener, which in some countries is actually banned, but in England, thankfully, it is not, was my huge substitute. And everything I ate had piles of sweetener put on it. Now, you may say that's bad because of the chemical, but when I was losing this weight, I needed to lose the weight more than care about what was good for me, what was bad for me, and all these things I actually did obviously helped me lose the weight. And a lot of the dietitians would have said, but what you did was very bad for you. Yes, was it bad for me? I mean, I'm thin now and I'm doing lots of exercise, but the journey was very hard. For the first 6 months, I was feeling hungry all the time. I just wanted to eat and eat. So my way of getting around it was I used to not eat literally all day, and I did my exercise in the morning. And then to start off with, that was swimming in the swimming pool because it was a non-weight bearing form of exercise. Finally, my mum and dad gave me a cross trainer, which I started to use. And in the end, after my first year of being in the gym and finding that their advice was not really helping, I actually thought to myself, why am I going out walking and paying money to go down the swimming pool when I'm passing this perfectly good piece of equipment, the cross trainer, which will do everything for me. By that time, I'd lost enough weight to be able to get on that cross trainer. At the beginning, that first cross trainer I had would not hold my weight. I was too heavy. But I did it in the end just by walking and got my weight down. And then in the evening, I used to pile all my day's food onto one plate and sit there and have a massive feast, which curtailed my desire for eating loads of food, and I was still eating my allowed food within my diet. And in a lot of that, there was quite a lot of ice cream and chocolate, because during the day I'd already had my fruit and veg. Yes, it was mainly vegetables, and 0-calorie vegetables do taste to me very awful, but in the end, at least I was having my 5 a day. And I also had vitamin pills and omega-3 fish oil pills, just because they didn't go into my calorie equation. And I ate just enough for my body to think it was getting what it needed, but it wasn't quite. So over a period of about 3 years, it was eating off my fat stores, and it finally got rid of my weight. But during that time, I look back and I think, when I was a big girl, I loved all of those full fat things like full fat cream and all that sort of food. But now I've been on this diet for 3 years and lost the weight due to my health problems. I now no longer like all those full fat foods that I used to like before, even though now I have lost all the weight and I'm doing cross training every morning, which, by the way, I don't actually like doing the exercise, but the exercise counteracts my love of still wanting to eat loads of food. So one counteracts the other, so it's the lesser of two evils. If I didn't do the cross training, I would go back and put all the weight on. But I no longer like all that rich, full fat food. I'll eat it, and I do enjoy it, but not as a craving anymore. It's more of an enjoyment than a craving. And the journey that I took was one of hardship, of encouragement from my family, especially my mum. I didn't do any sort of weight clubs or diet clubs. I didn't need them. I didn't see that I should pay out for them. I don't pay out for things I don't have to. I did it all myself, and yes, I've achieved the benefits, but that journey was a really hard road. And the first 2 weeks were living hell. The first 6 months was also bad, trying to get my stomach to shrink enough for the new amount of food I was putting into myself, to stop myself feeling hungry, and to give up the cravings of all these foods that I used to love, which I don't know what they could be for you. Full fat cheddar cheese. If you have whitener in coffee, are you having the full fat version? I mean, now, I used to have the full fat version, but now I have the light version, which is half the calories. And I haven't really gone into, on this one, the foods that I actually do eat and the diet, but I will say one thing about it. I am now eating more food, a lot more food, than what I used to eat, and calories, than when I look back over that chasm and see the big girl behind me. Because during that diet, I could have given it in so many times and fallen into that chasm from that bridge and gone back to being the big girl. And even now, I could still do that. I could still give up the exercise that keeps my weight down as it is and go back over that bridge and be the big girl, because it was just so easy to just sit down in front of my computer or in front of my telly and just eat all the foods that I loved. But now the hour and a half exercise on my cross trainer in the morning is what keeps that evil side of me wanting to eat all that food at bay. Because, believe it or not, I eat more now than I did then. I still eat my chocolate, I still eat my crisps, I still have full fat. I mean, today I went to the cafe and I had this huge piece of chocolate cake and a hot chocolate with loads of cream on top. Yes, 500 calories later. But considering I have more than 2,500 calories at my disposal now every day, it's a small portion of my day's intake. But that is only because I do the exercise. And I haven't gone into food too much, but I will just show you what I eat every day. This is 4 of my 5 a day vegetables. Now, here we have my healthy plate, and on this plate is orange, which is 50 calories, a banana, which is another 50 calories, tomatoes, which are actually 0 calories and they are a fruit, and cucumber, which is also 0 calories. Now, if you're at the start of your diet and you're having to drop calories to take the weight off, there are loads of other vegetables which count as 0 calories, which you can have in your day in any amount you like. These can be things like carrots, green beans, that's 2 already, you've got 2 more there. Brussels sprouts, that's a 3rd. And then you've got your tomatoes and your cucumber, well actually 5, and it hasn't counted towards your daily calories in any way, shape or form. 5 different portions, and it will also give you nutrients you need for the day. So I could then use the rest of my calories to eat whatever I liked. And yes, some of it was a very small dinner. I mean, I cook my own food, so I know exactly what's going in there. I even banned food like pizzas because they were just so high in calories and they didn't fill me up. And made my own filling food, which I knew what was in there. Lean meat, lean mince, and I knew how many calories it was, because making my own food like that meant I reduced the amount of calories I was intaking, and I was still having a healthy meal. And in the end, I still had half my daily calories left to eat all those foods I craved, but I had to eat them in smaller proportions. So all you people that are still having your sneaky thinking, oh, I'm very good, I only eat a very small amount of food on my plate every meal time. But what about all those sneaky cheese on toast meals that you have at night, or your crisps that you eat in front of the telly, or you sneakily have, oh, I've just had my 1 glass of wine at tea, I'll just have another one. Well, just have the one and then put your bottle back in the fridge and then leave it for tomorrow night, because once it's out of sight, the chances are you won't get up off your chair to get another one, because that takes effort. And believe me, when you sit and having a meal, you don't want to do anything that takes effort. So I hope there's a few tips there, and I hope I've shown you some of the journey that I had to go through in order to lose weight. Perseverance, but perseverance is there if you have a good family member to help you along with it. Even if that family member is a beached whale themselves, they can still help you to lose weight, even if they aren't doing the weight loss, because if they see you doing the weight loss, they themselves might follow suit and think, yes, actually, I think it's something good to do because it's going to lengthen my life. And now I go out for walks all the time. When I'm going shopping, I don't take my car even though I've got one. I go to the supermarket and I carry all my weekly shopping back on my rucksack and on my back. So that is the difference in lifestyle. It's from being a big girl to being what I am now is a different way of life, a different lifestyle. I was happy as a big girl, and I mean, a lot of people, these dietitians say, oh, these fat people can't be happy, but I was happy. I was happy as a big cuddly girl. If I didn't have those medical problems creeping up on me, which believe me, if when I get to later on in life they would have really crept upon me, I wouldn't have lost the weight. But at the end of the day, it has lengthened my life, and I am now more active, my heart is a lot fitter, and I know that I'm going to live a long and healthy life. I have a better chance of doing so than when I was Victoria. And that is what I call her now, Victoria, because I hate my full name. I'm Vicky, and that is Victoria, the girl that I do not want to be again. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.